blog. Welcome back to the stream. Now most of my subscribers here, or most of you who are just watching this, would probably know me as a body language expert that breaks down UFC fights or MMA martial arts types fights. But the King's Cross Chess Club has asked me today to break down the body language of a chess game, which I don't know too much about chess particularly, but look, combat's combat, and this competition, it produces the same sort of visual effects in the way in which a body moves under stress, and so this should not be so different. Now, it's between Alisher Suleymenov and Magnus Carlsen, and Magnus Carlsen is, as I understand, a real champion at the chess, and Alisher Suleymenov is not as great, but still a very good player. Now, originally I thought he must have been Dagestani, which is why people have asked me in, because the Dagestan region is known for its martial artists and wrestlers, with Habib Nurmagomedov as one of the most famous. But of course, you have Islam, and I forget his last name. But you've got a lot of people that are well known in that area. And I thought perhaps he was a wrestler, and I zoomed in, but you couldn't see, looking at his ears, I thought they might be cauliflowered, as they are sometimes if you are a wrestler, but they don't appear to be. But I did get me thinking that perhaps that would be a really great tactic for young chess players that were struggling with their ELO. They could maybe look in local competitions. I imagine if you turned up with cauliflower ears, much like if you turn up to the pub with cauliflower ears, people don't want to have a fight with you, perhaps the threat of physical intimidation might be enough to win you a few games. But that's for a different story. Now, after this game, Magnus Carlsen, he accused Alisher of cheating by using his watch in some ways. This is as I understand. Now again, I'm just going to look at I'm taking that as what the story is. I'm just going to look at the body language here. So this one here is Magnus Carlsen, and this over here is Alisher Suleymenov. And the first thing I thought about when I heard this watch is the way in which, that scene in Pulp Fiction where Christopher Walken's talking about hiding the watch from someone. And I thought,
this watch was on your daddy's wrist when he was shot down on about Hanoi.
About the way in which you might hide a watch, or oftentimes in the body language world, a watch is a very interesting thing, because not only is it a symbol of time, which is about mortality, but also we think of it as being a way in which to display how well we're doing in the world. And of course, I'm just using an old Casio digital watch there. It probably tells you how I'm going, which is not great, but I feel great, and that's important as well. Or maybe I'm doing so well that I don't have to put on airs and graces. I think Steve Wozniak from Apple also, I don't even think he has a small abacus on his arm, which he just flicks through the time as he feels, and that's something, isn't it? That time is relative, and it's always good to think that it's the way you feel it which really makes time important. So think about that. Anyway, but so we'll go through this video where I have this. I've broken down. Someone sent me all the parts during the game, during the broadcast at least, where Alisher was fiddling with his watch. So let's see this. Now, first off, touching your hair. It's a very primal move. Sometimes it shows intimidation, that you're a little bit intimidated or you're not feeling great about yourself. But again, you think about John Travolta at the start of Saturday Night Fever. He touches his hair as well. And so sometimes it's a preening mechanism as well. And so it's also a bit of a way to flirt. Plays with his watch. Now you think, a lot of the things for you people that don't know that much about body language stuff, the science of body language is, we break it down to, we think about from an evolutionary standpoint, and some of you may not even believe in evolution, but even if you go back, let's imagine the world was made. Let's imagine that instead of its monkeys learning how to live on their first days in the world and trying to adapt to the environment, let's imagine it's Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, or whatever religious belief that you have in terms of, you all have a starting point. You all have humans back a long time ago still trying to make sense of the world. And so for us, in the body language field, we try and break that down. We try and make sense of the world that way. And so imagine you freeze out. Imagine if you found a caveman in the snowy mountains or something right now, and you thawed them out and you put a watch on them. The first thing they would be doing this. And so it's a primal discomfort. And so I suspect that Alisher it may be his first. It may be a new watch. I don't think it would be his first time wearing a watch, of course, but maybe it's a new watch. Maybe someone gave it to him. I remember when I was a boy and I graduated, my father gave me a Swatch watch. And this was at a time when also they had big novelty-sized Swatch watches that people had on their wall. So that made me feel a bit uncomfortable. I felt, you feel it on your wrist, but after a while it goes away, you don't feel it so much. But I feel that maybe that's where he is with this. So let's move on. Feeling away there, feeling away onto the pen. Looks like a young... who does he look like? Almost a Lars von Trier type character. Now, this was interesting to me. There's all sorts of people, knuckleheads, walking around in this chess environment. This is not a great environment for a chess tournament, but so I can see that would probably be quite off-putting for everyone involved. But they look quite good. Alisher almost looks like they're new clothes. He's never been in them before, and that could be because he's intimidated by playing against Magnus Carlsen. Fiddling again with his watch, young Lars von Trier. I thought this was interesting. The way in which they've set this video up is the people upstairs there look a little bit like those old people in the Muppets, you know, the two old guys that watch Kermit. And there you go. Magnus would be Kermit the Frog in this situation. And this is interesting, isn't it? Because here we go. Alisher, he's staring up there like Kermit, saying, trying to quieten them down, let Fuzzy Bear do his routine. So yeah, bad. Again, it's not my place to say how they edit their videos. I do my videos a certain way, but I would not have these people up here. It gives a sort of a weird gallery feel that they're looking down, almost like, I forget what he was called, but on the toilet graffiti, sometimes there'd be someone where he had a large nose that hung over the top of the store. You draw a line, and then the nose would come out there. That's what it feels like a little bit to me, and it sets up a sort of a bit of a toilet humour feel. I'll see if I can draw it here. Would that come out? Yeah, like this is how you do him, I believe. And you'd also do his fingers. Sorry, I'm just drawing this. This isn't the way to do it, but there we go. I do that. Yeah, it's not even coming out now. Oh yeah, it is. That's the thing I'm talking about. Anyway, you get you get the idea there. But so anyway, nothing to see there. Let's move on a little bit. Magnus, arms crossed. Both of them arms crossed. Magnus having a sort of a Britpop hairstyle there. The young Lars von Trier has put his glasses on, again fiddling around, glasses off, sweeping hair, like it's like a perfect wave, that, isn't it? Look, and there's all sorts of people just dawdling around there like they're players on some sort of video, like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, non-player characters. There they are, the old people off the Muppets. He's back on that. He's fiddling with the watch even when Magnus is not there. Magnus Carlsen is there. He hulks over him. He's much bigger, like a bigger brother almost, isn't he? Again, fiddling with the watch. Nothing too strange. Again, I just think it's possibly like sweat under the leather, or possibly a Velcro watch. I've noticed this about the chess players. It's a pawing motion, like a horse's hoof, kicking up dust. They do, like a stallion will often do that, like a trot, a prance. They prance across the board, and a lot of this. Like a young Rodney Dangerfield, and then the prance. And tap straight or back onto the sign and autographs, it feels like. A prance, Rodney Dangerfield, and then they do the autographs. And then a bit of this, getting it ready for the fisticuffs. And you see this a lot in the martial arts as well. A lot of it's about hulking, like making yourself bigger. Peacocking, we call it. Peacocking with your hair. Magnus, what's he doing? He's looking down. And this young Lars von Trier, he's ready for action, like a magician almost, saying there's nothing up my sleeves, nothing up there, magic's on the board, and then prancing, and the hair as well. So this is all standard stuff, the old people from the Muppets up there. And it's not, sometimes you feel like in this, when people are doing this with their suit, they're not only drawing attention to the suit, they're saying, I'm too big for this suit. And they're also asking you to picture them nude. And I guess that's what Alisher is saying to Magnus. He's saying, imagine me nude, going mano to mano, Mano, I think it is in Spanish. I was never so good at Spanish, but you understand what I'm saying there. That it's a call to arms, really, and it's call to arms, literally, prance. And I think psychologically, you see here, Magnus has taken off his shirt, and this is sort of the sexual tension of the eroticism, I should say, about combat. That it's about leading up to the final act. It's a flirting. It's the foreplay of the final act of what sometimes violence in here. It's the violence of the chessboard of the 64 squares, they would say. Magnus taking off his shirt, being a niece. I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce it. He's looking over there. The Muppet's looking down, and one final play here. Whoa, thank you. Like a young Corey Haim there. Yeah, and so that's that video. I would like now to just go through the game. I'm not so familiar with how chess works, but I'll break it down as far as I can tell. We'll go to this board here. So he starts off here with the d4 pawn. Comes out here with f6. c4, it's sort of turning into something of a Queen's Gambit, but of course not, because you would need the d5 out there for it to be the Queen's Gambit. But going into the Queen's Indian defence, Petrosian variation, he brings out the bishop to a6. That's all bluster, because he's just asking Alisher, what are you going to do? And of course Alisher will bring out the queen to d2. Protecting that pawn, Magnus will retreat his queen. That's an empty threat. Brings out the knight, got both knights on the board. He's filling up. This is all pretty standard play, I think. I don't know. Let's move around here. I do know that my computer's running very slow, and I'm not sure what's going on there. But what I will also tell you is just... Wait, let me bring this here. Is just keep your eye on this section of the board, because this is where it gets interesting. Once there's a bit of queening, castling going on, which should be any minute now, you will see some stuff happening. And you've already got, this is just shooting down. It's coming, it's giving a lot of, it's threatening. Bring the rook over now. Stuck over in the corner. I'll go through this quick because I don't know what's going on here. And really, most of you just tuned in to see what my body language expert has got to say. It's a great play there. Defences are breaking down, sacrificing pieces, coming in with other pieces. Right now you can see the evaluation bar saying that White's really got this in the bag. Brings out the knight, brings the queen back. He's given up the knight there because it was chapped. Had to get rid of it. Brings out the queen. I don't know what's going on. Brings that over. Who knows? Can't take that because, of course, cannot take this because this is going to be, he's going to lose his rook there. So what does he do? Moves that. That's not going to help. Brings the bishop back. Here's the killer blow. Here it is. Pause the video if you want to work this out yourself. I'm just going to change this because I don't really like the way it works with the little arrows on the board. But what's going to happen here? He's going to move this knight here, and there's nothing he can do. He can't take because it's an automatic checkmate there with the queen. I feel like a weather person right now. It's very difficult, but it's an automatically mate because he's going to bring the queen all the way up there. And here it is. And it was at this point that Magnus resigned, went home, and started compiling his tweets and talking about the watch. Anyway, I hope you learnt something from this video, and if you did, like and subscribe. If you didn't, I'm sorry you didn't. I've done my best here, and hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learn a little bit more about how the body works and how people work in the world. Okay, thank you very much. Like and subscribe. Like and